Hi, this is a quick guide about how to collect soil samples for soil biology assessment, and also what is the best way to send the samples to a soil consultant or a lab. The first thing is to define the purpose of analyzing the soil. It could be simply to get a view of the biology of the soil, or it could be even to get more details and to know what's going on faced to a problem and how to deal with this problem. Together with a soil consultant, formulate what needs exactly to be assessed. Then, if there are some problematic areas, you can also proceed with another soil sample for specific areas. There are few things that you need to make a soil sample. I will start with the apple core. It's a very simple tool, but very useful when we are in the fields. Useful to dig into the soil enough to get the soil sample. We also need some Ziploc bags like this one, plastic bags with a zip at the top. And finally, a permanent marker pen like this one that we will use with the plastic bags. Where to sample and how many samples to take depends on the area and variation in soil types and qualities. Therefore, it's very important to observe the site carefully and take into account the initial discussions. At the end, the soil sample has to be representative of that field. If the area is considered to be fairly uniform, collect soil samples in a random manner from several places. The samples coming from the more uniform area go to the same bag and we'll level it on the outside part of the bag. If soil types differ or plant performance is questionable, sample these areas separately. Collect separate samples from places that differ in color, slope, drainage, past management practices, etc. We will take samples from these places specifying what we observe and the exact location on a piece of paper or in a notebook. Avoid sampling in dead furrows, wet spots, manure heaps, or irrigation channels. So the best location to get a soil sample is between the drip line, that is probably here, right? And the stem of the trunk in this case, or the plant that we care. So I'm going to take the sample in the halfway between the trunk and the drip line. We have to be extremely careful and avoid damaging the root system of the plant while proceeding with the sample extraction. It's a bit different when we take a soil sample from a compost pile. So I'm here with these two beauties and I'm going to take soil samples from a compost pile, and if you see this is more or less 8 centimeters, and I added a line here that indicates 10 centimeters. Taking a soil sample from a compost pile, we go 10 to 15 centimeters deep in the pile, taking samples from 3 different places. 2 samples from the sides and 1 from the top. We put the samples into the same bag and we label it on the outside part of the bag. We suggest including the date, location, and the contact information on the label. Once the soil samples are in the bag, we just close it halfway and fold it. We do it carefully to keep certain amount of oxygen in the bag and keep the microorganisms alive. Fill any additional space in the shipping box with a lightweight packing material to prevent samples from sifting, and deliver it on the same day if it's possible. Express delivery is strongly suggested to increase the chances of keeping all microorganisms alive and make a proper analysis. These are the most important takeaways presented during the clip. Number 1. First and foremost, the purpose needs to be defined with the help of a soil consultant. Number 2. When the soil presents uniform characteristics, we take samples randomly and we add samples into the same bag. Number 3. However, when the soil types differ, we need to take samples from these areas and use different bags. Number 4. For a specific evaluation of plants, we will take the sample halfway between the drip line and the trunk or stem of the plant. Number 5. When taking samples in compost piles, we need to take samples from 3 different places, 1 from the top and 2 from the sides, and go 10 to 15 centimeters deep into the pile. Number 6. Before packing the samples, we need to keep a certain amount of oxygen in the bag to keep the microorganism alive until reaching the lab.